Hello, welcome. We're into part 2. So, just going to give this a second to load up. Just going to give this a moment to get itself set up and give you guys a chance to log in. So, with any of these sessions, you're always welcome to add comments, ask questions. Feel free to ask absolutely anything at any point, and I will try and address it as we go through. So, just while we're waiting for a few more people to join in, I'm going to quickly test the camera that went a little bit AWOL last time. So I've got this slightly new setup where I can show this different camera angle. So this camera completely gave up in the last thing, but we'll try it again now. So I'm thinking that this is going to be quite useful for some of the sticking patterns. So if we're talking through any specific sticking patterns. So hopefully you recognize that that was a paradiddle. Yeah, if we need to check specific sticking patterns, we can hopefully do it with this camera angle. And then here's another nice one as well. So this was very complicated to set up. So I've had to set up my phone as an IP webcam and a share screen on an OBS thing. I can't even remember what OBS stands for. Online broadcasting system, I think it is, and this all ties in with the YouTube stuff. So it's all very complicated, but yeah, hopefully this will all work. And I just need to remember what camera I'm addressing. So let's quickly flick back to this one while I'm still chatting to you guys. So yeah, again, if you've got any questions, any comments, anything you want to know about, you can pop it down into the comments section so I can see the comments as they come in. If there's anything you want to ask, whether it's about the lesson content, whether you want to know something specific for a song, even if it's wanting to know how to kind of tune your snare drum or knowing where to get accessories for your drum kit, yeah, feel free to ask absolutely anything. So, right, I need to remember what we're covering in this session. So, I believe we're looking over a lot of song 5. And for some of the guys, we're going to be looking at the tied notes, the tied crashes or pushes that we talked about in the videos. So, let's get straight into it. If anyone wants a reference for song 5, that is page 25 of the blue book. And yeah, let's quickly talk through it. So, oh, I've got to decide what camera angle I want. So just while I'm fiddling like this, that's me changing camera angle. So hopefully you can see a slightly different view of my hands. And so first line of song 5 sounds like this. So that's the first line of song 5. The little fill that I added in at the end was Coca-Cola coffee. When adding fills, you're welcome to orchestrate them any way that you want around the kit. So that's Coca-Cola coffee that I just played. You could play it like this. You could play it like this. You can actually split the Coca-Cola between 2 different drums. So you get Coca-Cola coffee, which is quite cool. So, I imagine that a lot of us are quite familiar with the first line of song 5. So, let's do a quick run of that together. Just for fun, I'm going to change the camera angles. Hooray! Did it. Okay. What are we doing? First line of song 5. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Okay, here comes the fill. So, sounds like that. Second line, pretty much the same. It's the same drum beat that we're doing, but we're adding in a bigger fill at the end. It's going to sound something like this. So that fill that I used around the kit, Coca-Cola, 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 coffee. oh, this is where the camera angle thing comes in really useful, because I can switch it over to this. And if I've pressed all the right buttons, you can now see my hands in a different place. And I can show you exactly what it goes like moving around the kit. Coca-Cola, 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 coffee. So that's the drum fill that we're using at the end of line 2. So with this view, let's have a little play along with that. I'm going to count to 4. We'll play through, this is line 2, so we're going into the big fill at the end of this. So, if I haven't already said, this is song 5 that we're referring to now. So, 1, 2, 3, here we go. So, 1, 2, 3, here's the fill. Cool. So that's lines 1 and 2. Okay, so just for a giggle, let's go back to this camera angle. Okay, so I'm hoping that we're all fairly comfortable with lines 1 and 2. So let's have a play through them. Lines 1 and 2. 1, 2, 3, here we go. Okay, so first off, little fill. And now we're in line 2. So big fill this time. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Cool. So that's lines 1 and 2. So how about we talk about lines 3 and 4, the B section of this. So the B section is pretty much exactly the same. It's just the bass drum pattern that changes. After we do the first crash, every time we do bass drums after that is going to be 2 in a row. Let me show you, this will be the first line of B, or line number 3 of song 5. So I used exactly the same drum fill as I did in the first line, because it's a 2-beat drum fill that we're aiming for. So I did my Coca-Cola coffee again in there. The next line is going to be pretty much the same as line 2, just with the varied bass drum pattern. So this is the second line of B, or line number 4 of the page. Okay, big fill. So that's what we've got for section B. If you can play section A, I reckon you can probably get to section B quite easily. So let's have a go playing through section B. I'll put it like this so you can see my hands. So we're going to go through section B. So remember, after that first crash, it's 2 bass drums every time, and I'll try and count you into the fills. So 1, 2, 3, here we go. Okay, a little fill in 1, 2. Okay, big fill this time. Here we go. So that's section B. What I should try and do now is find the backing track for this one, because I think if I've got this all set up sensibly, so with me, just changing camera angles again. If I've got all this set up sensibly, I should be able to find the backing track on one of the other devices that will plumbed into the laptop, and we'll have a little play through. So you're going to have to bear with me a second. Okay, luckily it is actually the first one that's come up. So, song 5, full speed. We're going to do just section A and then B and then stop. You're welcome to try playing along, or just treat this as a demonstration. So, hopefully this will work.
Song 5.
Yeah.
Time Warrior.
Oh no, I should have changed the camera angle.
Song 5.
Let's try that again.
Time Warrior.
Okay. 2, 3, here we go. Little fill. Okay, Okay, big fill into section B. So remember, 2 bass drums every time. Little fill. A big fill, here it comes. 3, 4. Okay, so that is sections A and B of song 5. You can hear that the backing track was going to carry on there. It's because we've got a repeat, but we'll cover that a different time. So that's song 5. So if I've been sending you videos regarding song 5, that is the kind of stuff that I want you to be working on at the moment. So I think we've got some viewers on here that are thinking about its tied notes and pushes is how I've been describing them. So what's the best camera angle for this one? I think I'll keep it as it is. So as a reference for this, this is going to test my memory, page 31 of the blue book. It does reference page 30 as well. Let's cover the basic beats for it. So the beat is going to sound like this. So that's the basis of this exercise. It's based around that groove. But we're going to add something called a push, or a lot of musicians know it as a push. Technically, it's a tied note that we're going to do on the crash. So the pattern ends up sounding like this. So I've added some crashes in there. The crashes go on the second bass drum in each bar. Let me just switch camera angles, and you'll be able to see what my hands are doing on this. So when I get up to the second bass drum, I'm adding a crash at the same time as that second bass drum. That crash is the tied note. So when you see this on the page, so again, this is page 31, exercise 1. You'll see a crash written at the top. On the top line, so that's the circled X, and it's got a little line that comes after it. That is the tie. What it means is it's extending the value of the note through the latter note, through the following notes. So after I do the crash, I've got to wait for a whole beat before I come back to the hi-hat. So let me show you that again. Okay, so I'm just looking at my monitor, and because I'm using a potato quality camera, I don't know if that actually came across very well. So I'll play that a little bit slower again. So that's what it's going to sound like. That is our little push exercise. So that's the tied note. What we'll try now is I'll switch over to a different camera angle. So hopefully you can see this all again a little bit better. Okay, so new camera angle. We're going to try playing that a few times in a row. I'll count us in and we'll give it a little try. So 1, 2, 3, here we go. Cool. So that's that exercise. So the reason that we're looking at this, or the reason that these kind of pushes come up in music, is it's generally signifying a chord change. So a lot of what we've done so far is where chords are changing at the beginning of the bar or directly halfway through the bar. So your crashes go at the start of the bar. And it's likely that that's where the chord change is going to be. So the chord change is where the other musicians in the band are switching to a slightly different sounding chord. It makes it sound slightly different. when you change the chord on the and of beat 4 or the and of beat 2, so it's on the back part of a coffee, it gives it a slightly different emphasis. So if the chord was changing on the and of 2, it would line up with that crash that we're doing. And would be highlighting that little change. A really common place for this chord change to happen is on the and of beat 4. So this was another exercise that I sent out to some of you guys. So it's putting a push at the, it's on the and of beat 4, and then doing a little fill afterwards. So the exercise, I'm doing this from memory, I think sounded like this. Okay, here comes the push. So that little crash at the end, that push note, that would be highlighting a chord change or a change in the music. And then we're giving it a little bit of breathing space and adding a 2-beat fill at the end. So I'll do another couple of run-throughs on that, but I can see that we are kind of running out of time. So if you've got any questions, any comments, do pop them into the comment box now so that I can address them before we round off. So, right, another quick run through of that last exercise. Our main groove is this. The third time we play it, we add the push at the end of the bar. And then we've effectively got 2 beats of rest, and I think it was Lemonade Blackberry was the pattern that was added in as the little fill, which leads us back in. So I'll play it one time through, then we'll try it together. 1, 2, it sounds like this. Okay, here comes the push. 1, 2. Okay, so let's give that one try together. If you're struggling with this, I may not have, because I know there's a couple of different groups within this video. Some of you may not have come across this before. If this sounds absolutely mad, don't worry about it. It's something that we'll cover in the future. So for the guys that have been looking at this kind of stuff, we'll do one final run, and then I'm going to have to round off the session. So, final run of the day. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Crash. 1, 2, Lemonade Blackberry. So that's, oh, now I'm testing memory. I think that's the top of page 32 in that one. I should check my book to reference. So these push exercises come around page 30. Yeah, so the first push exercise that we looked at was page 31, exercise 1. The next one that we did with a little fill as well was page 32. So again, if that sounds completely alien to you, don't worry. It's something that we are going to cover in the future. So cool, right. Well, I think what I'm going to need to do is start rounding it off about here. So, well, basically, thank you very much for joining me. This has been a lot of fun doing this. I quite like doing this live stream thing, and it makes me feel really professional having all these different camera angles. So that's quite cool. So again, thanks for joining me. Any more questions, any comments, anything you want to know, yeah, just drop it into, just drop us an email, drop us a message, and we'll do our best to answer your questions. Right, we'll leave it there for today. So thanks very much. Stay safe, have fun, and we'll see you again very soon.